Hello, welcome back to the Mobile Motorbike Mechanic channel. I'm Steve. This morning we're heading off into Birmingham to service the 2006 Honda Fireblade. So we'll see you when we get there. Right folks, so here we are, CBR 1000 2006. This one's a bit unique because if we turn the ignition on and you come and have a look at this, yeah, that's 147 genuine miles from new. So yeah, a little bit different, 147 miles from new. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this, do a full service. We'll do the a brake flush as well. We'll do the clutch fluid, and then we're just going to check the bike over for the customer basically from front to back. So we'll get into that now. All right, so we'll get the oil done. Once the oil's draining, and we can get on with everything else. So we need to go down and get the sump plug out. There you go. Right. We'll just end up dropping the sump plug in the bottle there, and then we'll fish it out later. I'm going to end up burning myself. Oh, it's tight. It's very tight. Go on out, you cummy bastard. There we go. Right, got it. Right, now that's draining. I'll just open up the top to help it drain a bit more. Just need to get a new washer for the sump bolt, and we can get this fairing panel off because the oil filter's just there. Right, 5mm Allen bolts. We're going to get all of these undone. One, two, three, four. Now, we can just take that one panel out. So with that fairing panel removed, we can now get to the oil filter. Handy dandy strap tool. Pop it on the oil filter. Ooh, bloody hell. You don't want to come off. No. There we go, that's got him. God, he was on there. He was on there. Abuse of tools with tools. There we go. Now he's coming off. Yeah, that's it. Oh, lovely, all over the exhaust. So whilst that's draining, we'll get the tank off, get the air filters replaced, and get the spark plugs replaced as well. that may involve some swearing. So we'll pop the seat off. I noticed the seat has been fitted incorrectly, but we'll sort that out when we come back to put it back on. All we need, they're not the right bolts. These should be 5mm Allen key bolts, but for some reason somebody's used T30 Torx bolts, which is a bit of a strange one. It might be that they've just lost the bolts and used whatever they've got available. So as you can see, the bolt, yeah, so these two little clips here should actually go underneath this, so when you fit the seat, it goes in like that, so then it's trapped at the front. Tank off next, so we need to get this panel removed here with the bolt, same on this side, so we'll get those two off, and then we need to remove this tank cover. So it's 2 bolts at the back, 2 bolts at the front. And then we just pull the tank cover off. There we go. So now we can get to the tank. So we've got to then do 1 bolt there, 1 bolt there, 1 bolt here and 1 bolt here, and then we get the tank off. And up she rises, hopefully. With the tank supported back, we can see this is our fuel connection here. So we need to undo that fuel connection because all of this has got to come out to get into the spark plugs. And it's a damn sight easier just taking the tank off. So we'll get this fuel connection undone, we'll get a bit of wiring undone, and we'll get the tank out of the way. Because it depends if this is going to be shut off or not. Oh, bloody hell, that was done up. So yeah, we've got fuel leaking out, but hopefully it'll only leak for a moment and then stop. So this is your main fuel connection. There we go. That's got him off. So when you come to fit that back on again, just remember to replace the 2 crush washers. And drop that back down again. And now we can undo these 2 back bolts and lift the tank out. Go. I'm just going to remove this plate as well, just so we can get the tank out a bit more easily. Doesn't have to come off, but may as well make life easier for yourself. Alright, just support the back of the tank whilst we take these bolts out. So we should now be able to lift the entire tank assembly out. There we go. So now the tank's out of the way, we can get the airbox out of the way, and then we can get into where the plugs are. So all we need to do is just start taking off all of this lot. So it's all these crosshead screwdriver or crosshead screws. First thing is first, we'll pop this little rubber cover off. gives us full access to all the screws and things that we need. Right, there's one down in the middle there. Don't forget the one in the middle. And 2 air filters. So, pop those over here for safekeeping, but we are going to replace those. Brand new air filters. And now we need to take off all of these screws to get this airbox out. Right, so now all that lot's undone, we've just got a couple of hoses up the front here to do. Can't get your fingers in that one. Just use a screwdriver to spin the clip round and then you can get on it. Oh, that's one. I've got the same on the other side. There's the other one. Again, can't get your finger under the clip, so just prise it open like that. There we go. There we have it. So now we're down in the depths. So these are the throttle bodies. Looks like we've got some build-up of something on those. So. Right, anyway, these are your throttle bodies. So this is the piece that needs to come out to be able to get to your spark plugs underneath. So this is where the swearing starts. The reason for it to be starting swearing is it's got 2 screws that hold it in. One here and one on the other side. So you've got to take all of this bodywork off. Okay, so with the fairing removed, we can now get to this one screw that we need to get to. A lot of work just to get to one bloody screw. But there we go, that's what we needed out. Go around and do the other side. So now we should be able to remove this piece here. No, because the throttle cables are in the way. What an absolute bastard. I did know that these bikes are an absolute dick to work on, but I didn't realise they were this bad. Right, so that's bits come out. So we managed to get that out. But next we've got to get this ram tunnel out. And this ram tunnel can only go forward. So in order to get it to move forward, we've got to drop the radiator. Fun. Now, we've got 2 more bolts in here that we need to take out. One of these is going to end up in that oil tray in a minute. I just know it. Right, we're getting somewhere now. As we can see now, we've moved that. That's starting to move forward. Get ridiculous. It's caught on that. You see, on that rubber bung. It won't release. So, because that won't release, I can't remove anything. Can't remove the radiator from it. Okay, so we just dropped the radiator down a little bit, and now we can get in under here and get these. Hang on. There you go. Get the two bolts underneath. That's the bolt we're going for. Under there. Take that one out. Go around to the other side, and then that induction piece will slide forward. Right, so with those two bolts out, now we can pull that induction piece forward, and there we go. We've got to the spark plugs. So that's all the oil dripped out of the bike. So we'll just get the brand new oil filter on there. So down to when it snugs, and then try and get it one more turn. Or as much as you can get it on there. And we've got a brand new crush washer on the sump plug, so we'll get that in there as well. So that's the oil filter done, sump plug's in, so we're ready to fill this one back up with oil now. There we go. Right, so that's one of the coils out for the spark plugs. We'll get the other three out now. These can be pretty tight and quite difficult to get out. There we go. Dun dun. And two. So we'll just carry on getting the rest of them out. It's the ones in the corners that are the worst, because there's just no room for your fingers. There we go. Right. So now we can get into these and get the actual spark plugs out. Right. There we go. 4 iridium spark plugs. 4 brand new spark plugs. So we'll get those installed. Right, that's the plugs in. So we'll get the cores back on, get it all back together again, and we'll start buttoning it back up. Right, coils going in. Nice positive click to get them in. Is what you want. Now this one is the tight one. It's a right pain. There we go. Get the wire out of the way. There we go. And then we just want to reconnect our wiring plugs. And there we go, all done. So we'll get this air box back together again, and we'll get the new air filters put in. Radiator's all fitted back up again. We've got this induction piece in, so now we need to get this bit in, which is always fun, shall we say. It's a bit of a bugger, a bit of a challenge getting it in. There we go. And we just need to squeeze them in. There we go. So now we just got to pop those two screws back inside. There is the base of the airbox. Right, now we can get the air filters in, get the lid back on again, and we know that's all sealed up, we ain't going to get any rubbish in it. Okay, so this is our old air filter. It's our brand new high flow air filter. You might notice there's a bit of a difference, namely this plastic piece. So this has got to come out of this air filter and be fitted into this one. So it should be just a question of you giving it a twist, pulling it out, and then popping it into the new air filter. But that's a bit grubby, so we'll give it a clean first. There we go, two brand new air filters, and the little indent goes into the keyway. Oop, little indent goes into the keyway in the airbox. So with the new air filters in, it's just a question of folding over the lid and getting it all back together again. Right, there we go, that's all back together again. So we'll get back to fitting the fairings back on again and everything now that that's all buttoned up, because we didn't want any dirt or any rubbish getting in there. Right, we're just about to put the fairings back on again, and we noticed the coolant level's a bit low, so we're just going to top it up. We just got some universal coolant here, so like I say, we'll just top up with this one. So that's all the fairings back on again now, so tank next. Whew. with the rear tank bolts fitted, we can reconnect our fuel line. We just need to get the bolt for that and get the crush washers. So one bolt and a couple of new crush washers, one side, one the other. Just need to do the electrical connector down the bottom there. So now we can drop the tank down. There we go. And before we fix the tank, we're just going to turn the ignition on, run a pressure test to make sure there's no fuel leaks. Okay, so fuel pressure test was successful, no fuel leaks, so we'll get the last couple of bolts in for the tank. Right, and now we can get the tank cover back on again. Tease them out. There you go. There you have it. Looks so much nicer when it's done properly. Pop in the little cover panel. Pop the seat bracket back in again. Done. Before we put the seat back on, we want to check the charging system. So we're not going to put the seat back on, but we can't start the bike because we've got no oil in it. So we need to get the oil sorted out. All right, oil fill time. And we're not even on the sight glass yet. I'd expect it to take 3.5 at least. Plus obviously we've changed the filter as well, so that's going to take a few 100 ml. So I don't think we're going to get any change out of this 4 litre can. So what we'll do, we'll run the bike for a couple of seconds and then leave it to drain down into the sump, check the level, see where we're at. This will also tell us if we've been successful with putting our spark plugs and everything else in the right place. Hopefully we have. It's all got to come apart again. Okay. Right, so the oil pressure warning indicator's gone off, which is great news. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes, let all the oil drain back to the sump, and we'll see where we're at. It's been a couple of minutes, and if we have a look at the sight glass on this one now, you'll see it is empty. So obviously we've got to top up a bit more oil in that one, so we'll do that now. Right, so if you have a look at the sight glass now, you'll see it's absolutely bang on with the level. Yep, can't see in there. Yep. There you go. He's absolutely bang on with the level. So all full of lovely fresh oil. Right, so that's the oil and oil filter done on this one. Spark plugs, air filters. So we'll crack on, we'll do the brakes next and also the clutch. Right, just before we put the seat back on again, I did say we were going to test the battery. So we'll have a quick look just to see what the battery level is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not bad. There you go, yeah. Lovely. So the battery's good and the bike is charging. So charging system's all good on this one and the battery's all good. Right, now we can get the seat on and then we'll do the brakes and do the clutch. Right, so let's get on with these brakes. We'll get all the old fluid sucked out of these. Yeah. And then we can get all new fluid put into them. Just in case we splash anything. Pop that there. Top of the diaphragm, and you can see there's quite a lot of condensation and what have you on the top of that. So we'll get all that cleaned up, get it all sorted out. Right, a little comparison of new brake fluid versus old brake fluid. You can see the colour difference there. So we'll get this sucked out, get it replaced, get it sorted. Get that attached, ready to go. So you can see the colour difference between the fresh fluid and the old fluid. So this is obviously the clutch. This is the one we're going to do next, but that's the front brakes done. All right, same again for the clutch. So this clutch pot has got quite a lot of residue and horribleness left in it. So yeah, we'll clean that out, we'll get it sorted. Right, so what I'm going to do slightly different on this one is I'm actually going to pull all the fluid out of the line first before we top it up with new stuff. Just because it's a single line, it's a lot quicker and easier to bleed it that way. Yeah, so I can actually hear that sucking air in now. There we go. You can see all the little air bubbles coming out of that one. So just bleed it through a little bit. Perfect. Just going to check the clutch operation. So we'll pop it into gear. Yep, we're in gear, pull the clutch in, and there you go. Free spinning back wheel. So we know the clutch is working. Okay, so last system on this one is the rear brake. So just need to get this reservoir out of here, which is a 10mm. Yeah, it's just that 10mm bolt, which is right directly behind this rear footrest hanger. So we'll take the rear footrest hanger off, take that off, and then we can get to the bolts, the screws on top to get the cap off. Bit of a faff, but what can you do? Right, disassembled half the bike to get the cap off, and there is the cap. And again, don't know if you want to look down in there, we've got some pretty manky yellow looking brake fluid. So just filled up with our little bottle of .4. So what we'll do, we'll crack this open, we'll get some fluid through it. So he's just at the bottom there. I'm happy that that's pulled all the old brake fluid out. So we'll top this one up. A little bit more. There we go. And we're topping these right up because they are new pads. Right, and now I can get the diaphragm and the lid back on this one again, and then we're done. Right, that's all done. So rear brakes all sorted, obviously front brake, clutch. So we're just going to check wheels, tyres and the bearings, and then we're done. As this bike is so original, we've still got the tyre information sticker on the side of the swing arm. So 42 on the rear, 36 on the front. So we'll just check the pressures. If they need adjusting, we will adjust them. I think that might need a bit of wind in it. 16 psi. I don't want to go in that side because I'm going to get oily arm. I'm going to go in this side instead. $42. Now, just whilst we're at the back here, we're just going to check the rotation of the bearings. Check to see if there's any play in them. Doesn't feel like there's any play in those. Make sure everything runs nice and smooth. All feels good, sounds good, and the brake pads are all fine as well. So we're all happy with the back end, so we'll move to the front and get that sorted. Okay, front should be 36, so let's see what we've got. $22. Bang on 36. Let's just do that again, make sure I'm not. Yep, bang on 36. So that's tyre pressure's done, so we're just going to check, look at what the brake pads are like in this one. They're looking all good. They're looking all good, so brake pads are good. Just give it a little rock back and forth. Doesn't feel like there's any play in any of the head bearings there, so that's good. Doesn't feel like there's any particular play in the wheel bearings either. Okay, just whilst we're at the back end here, we're going to check the chain. Yeah, it's a little bit slack, so yeah, it should be 30 mil of free play on this chain. That's more like 50. Let's have a look with the ruler. Yeah, that's going up to 10, and that's going up, yeah, it's about 50 mil of free play, that is. So we'll just we'll adjust the chain as well while we're here, get that sorted. Alright, so I've just adjusted the chain, and he's now 30 mil of free play in the middle of the swing arm. So much better. There we go. All good. Right folks, so that's this one all done. Unbelievable, yeah, 147 miles on this bike. It's 2006. But anyway, yeah, you see this, do a full service on it, do all the fluids, brakes, everything, do the chain, check the tyre pressures, check the bearings. So there we go. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next video.